Good afternoon. Welcome to Africa Today. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. Minister urges students to remain on campus during nationwide protest. Focus on your mandate, not partisan politics, says Ghana's Brigadier General Asare to soldiers. Turkey approves 2-year military deployment to Somalia. And on sport, Paris 2024 Super Falcons lose 1-0 to Spain. Now the news in detail. The Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, on Monday advised students in Nigerian universities to remain on campus during the planned nationwide protest to avoid risking their lives. The minister, through the acting executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, Chris Meyaki, made this known in a letter addressed to vice chancellors of universities. Certain activists have organized a nationwide protest slated for August 1st on 10/2024. The planned protest has gained traction on social media, trending under the hashtags End Bad Governance, Tinubu Must Go, and hashtag Revolution 2024. The presidency and police authorities have called on youth to abandon the plan. Jamila Ibrahim, Nigeria's Minister of Youth Development, has urged young Nigerians to reconsider participating in the planned nationwide protest against the country's economic hardships. In her recent statement, Jamila Ibrahim argued that while Nigeria is indeed facing challenges, it is not unique in its struggles. She emphasized that many countries around the world are experiencing similar difficulties, suggesting that protesting might not be the most productive way to address the issue.
As a matter of fact, all these programs and initiatives we're discussing here, we're rubbing minds and brainstorming over, of what use will they be if we decide to cause unrest? We will be running for safety as opposed to building and empowering ourselves, supporting young businesses, or building new ones, or creating clusters. That's in addition to the other initiatives that the youth unemployment benefit as well for young people who do not have jobs. In the next few days, this youth unemployment benefits will begin to, people will begin to.
Her comments have sparked mixed reactions among Nigerians. Some have criticized her stance, questioning why Nigeria's situation should be compared to other nations instead of seeking specific solutions to local problems. Others have expressed frustration at what they perceive as a disconnect between the government's perspective and the everyday realities faced by ordinary citizens. Social media response reflects a general sentiment of skepticism towards the government's approach, with many questioning the relevance of comparing Nigeria's situation to those of other countries rather than addressing the pressing issues directly. Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has named those sponsoring the nationwide protest plan for August 1st as hunger, unemployment, inflation, corruption, and others. Obi absolved himself as one of the arrowheads behind the nationwide protest plan, contrary to claims by the special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on communication and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, stated that he never contemplated sponsoring such action. The LP presidential candidate rather listed the names of the sponsors of the national protest will be named those sponsoring the protest using personification of the following phenomena: hunger, Mr. Unemployment, Mr. Inflation, Mr. Corruption, Mr. Unaccountability, among others. Obi, however, advised Nigerians against trying to influence or dictate to the youth what to do. He also cautioned that while the youth should be free to express their views and pursue their goals, their actions must remain within the bounds of the law. He urged them to be peaceful and organized, stressing that constructive engagement is crucial for effecting meaningful change. Obi highlighted the need for the youth to be well informed about their rights and responsibilities as citizens and encouraged them to use constitutional means to voice their concerns. He further urged older generations and leaders to listen to the youth and support their endeavors, pointing out that young people are often the ones who are most affected by poor leadership. When we return, news from other parts of West Africa. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The commanding officer of the Southern Command, Samuel Asari, has urged all troops to focus on their military duties and not to engage in partisan political activities. He said as the country approached the peak of the electioneering season in the upcoming December polls, they will continue to support sister security services to ensure that peace prevails for development to thrive in the country. Asare gave advice at the inauguration ceremony of a self-help one-story facility for young soldiers at the Muyong Barracks at Apremdo in the Western region. He urged the soldiers to continue to work together and remain professional in their duties. In the northern region of Mali, Tuareg rebels reported on Saturday that they had killed and wounded several government soldiers and Russian Wagner Group mercenaries during a two-day clash near the Algerian border. The Malian military confirmed the death of 2 soldiers and injured to 10 others. The CSP-PSD rebel movement declared that they had seized armored vehicles, trucks, and tankers during their confrontations in Tinzouaten. They also asserted causing damage to a helicopter that crashed in Kidal, located hundreds of kilometers away. The Malian army verified that 2 soldiers were killed and 10 were injured, with a helicopter crashing in Kidal during a routine mission on Friday, resulting in no casualties. We move to other parts of Africa after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Turkey's parliament approved a motion to deploy its armed forces to Somalia, including to the country's territorial waters. The 2-year operation aims to support Mogadishu's counter-terrorism operations and comes months after the 2 countries signed the defense and economic cooperation deal. Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab has been waging an insurgency against the Somali government since 2006 in a bid to establish a fundamentalist Islamic State. Turkey has been providing training, assistance, and advisory support to Somalia for more than 10 years, working to restructure its defense and security forces. But Turkish officials say economic challenges have prevented Somali armed forces from being fully effective. 11 months after he came to power in a coup, there are growing calls for Gabon's transitional president Brice Oligui Nguema to run for office. He was sworn in September last year, less than a month after ousting President Ali Bongo, whose family had ruled the country for more than 5 decades. He said he and his rally for the Homeland and Modernity Party would support the president if he stood in the presidential elections scheduled for August 2025. The transition charter governing Gabon authorizes Oligui Nguema to stand as a candidate but not the other leaders. But while the president's actions on the ground suggest he intends standing, has not yet declared himself a candidate. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. On business news, the Central Bank of Nigeria has clarified that only accounts that have been inactive for over 10 years are eligible to be classified as dormant and will be used for investment purposes. It also stated that a dedicated office will be created to manage dormant accounts and unclaimed balances. The Apex Bank disclosed this in its recently issued document titled Facts, Guidelines on Dormant Accounts and Unclaimed Balances, July 25, 2024, posted on its website. The guidelines on the management of dormant accounts, unclaimed balances, and other financial assets in banks and other financial institutions in Nigeria is a policy issued by the CBN that seeks to operationalize Section 72 of the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and standardize the management of dormant accounts and unclaimed balances. The CBN had earlier disclosed that it might invest funds from dormant accounts, unclaimed balances in Nigeria, treasury bills, and other government securities. According to the Apex Bank, it will manage these funds in trust, refunding the principal and any accrued interest to beneficiaries within 10 working days of receiving a reclaim request from the financial institution. A planned nationwide protest scheduled to commence on August 1, 2024 has sparked concerns among economic experts who warn of devastating consequences if not properly managed. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise has cautioned that the protest could inflict an estimated daily loss of 400 billion naira, with severe consequences for the country and its citizens. The protests, organized by various groups in the country, are aimed at drawing attention to the country's economic woes, including high inflation, production costs, unemployment, and hunger. However, economic experts fear that the protests could lead to shutdowns and disruptions in major sectors of the economy, including trade and commerce, manufacturing, and financial services. The CPPE has urged the protest organizers to cooperate with the police to ensure peaceful and orderly protests and advise that the duration of the protest should be short, possibly one day. Still to come, sports. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, podcast.